How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, and so much more. We've got to begin with the tragic situation in Minnesota. And I want to be real clear here with you. What happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Renee Good being killed is a tragedy, but it is one where she's neither hero nor martyr. She behaved irresponsibly and brought this on herself. It's sad. The ICE agents are not saints. They're not demons either. They're not monsters. They're federal agents who were charged with doing a job, and progressives in this country are grappling with the fact that the public rejected them and they're not handling it well. I sent out the video yesterday afternoon, and several people pointed out in the video you could see that Renee Good had turned her wheel. She was not trying to drive straight into the ICE agent, but if you look at the ICE agent, her car does move forward on the ice and hits him. He has pulled his gun, and as she hits him, he opens fire. He's not looking at the wheel that she meant to turn away. She ran right into him. She was a progressive activist. In fact, we know from people at the scene that she was one of the organizers. Multiple eyewitnesses have come forward, in addition to saying she did nothing wrong, have come forward to say she was one of the organizers of the effort to harass and obstruct law enforcement from what law enforcement was doing, which was rounding up illegal aliens. For those of you who refuse to acknowledge the proper context here, let me give you the proper context. The proper context is ICE agents have been shot at around the country. In Texas, a group of illegal aliens were murdered last year by a progressive activist. Why? Because ICE agents were bringing them into a detention facility, and the progressive was a bad shot and wound up killing the illegal immigrants he was trying to liberate instead of killing the ICE agents he was trying to kill. We had an attack on an ICE facility in California. We've had attacks on ICE agents around the country. They've been struck by cars. They've been shot at. They've been harassed. They've been spat upon. They've been doxxed. That is, people putting out their personal information online so they can be harassed at home. Progressives have said we should make them feel unsafe. These are armed federal agents who are charged with rounding up the illegal aliens that the Democrats let into the country. And this is part of the problem here. You need to understand this. Getting rid of the illegal immigrants is an existential threat to progressivism. It's why, and many of them don't even realize it because they're a bunch of lemmings. They don't understand why getting rid of illegal immigrants is an existential threat to progressivism. The politicians know, though. If you're a regular listener, you know why it's an existential threat. Under the United States Census, everyone is counted for purposes of apportionment of the House of Representatives, including the illegal aliens. Anyone who resides in a state. So if you're an illegal alien and you live in the state of Minnesota, you're going to get counted for purposes of the census, and that preserves the Democrats' seats in the House of Representatives. And that determines the Electoral College. You get rid of the illegal immigrants in blue states. You reduce the populations of the blue states. You therefore reduce their representation in the House of Representatives, which thereby reduces the number of votes they get in the Electoral College to pick the president. It's an existential threat to the Democrats. These are states with population, the citizen population decline. People are leaving, not going to Minnesota, Illinois, New York, California, Oregon, Washington State. These are states of exodus for citizens. They're propping up their numbers with illegal immigrants. If Trump deports the illegal immigrants come 2030, it's going to hurt them with the census. It's an existential threat. Likewise, the census regularly adjusts apportionment based on statistical modeling for the block grants that states get. So as populations are adjusted more than every decade, the Census Department makes adjustments pretty regularly. As populations of those states decline, their block grants decline, their government welfare checks decline. They have fewer people, so they get less money. That's just the truth. You may not like the truth, but the truth is the truth. The truth doesn't care whether you like it or not. It's true. It's an existential threat to the progressive operation to have illegal immigrants removed from the country. So what have they done? They've taken up arms against ICE. They use vehicles as weapons against ICE. Renee Good, and my apologies, I said Rachel yesterday. It's Renee. Renee Good declared herself a lawful observer. Now, you need to understand, and we're going to spend a little time on this at the bottom of the hour, what does it mean to use this label lawful observer? It doesn't actually mean anything significant. It's something the Antifa movement has come up with. They call themselves lawful observers, and in calling themselves lawful observers, what they mean is that they are someone who they believe can't be arrested. They believe they have some level of jurisdiction that protects them. A legal observer. It's via the National Lawyers Guild. I'm reading now from a guy named Josh Rayner who has written this, that she was a legal observer. It is a talking point that has been pushed out by members of Congress. Maxine Dexter, Ilhan Omar, Jerry Nadler, Sarah Jacobs, and others. CARE as well. Notice CARE is involved, the New Republic, a bunch of progressive activists, that a quote-unquote legal observer. A legal observer isn't a real designation. The National Lawyers Guild is the legal arm of Antifa, funded by George Soros, according to this Josh Rainier guy. They provide funds to bail out the rioters and the protesters. So they give this designation, legal observer, to Renee Nicole Good. She was a protester. In fact, there are people who were there who protested with her who said she was one of the leaders of the protest. She was using her car as a barricade to block. She was parked across the road to block ICE agents from proceeding down the road in their vehicles. She was approached by ICE agents. She rolled down her window. The ICE agent at her window tells her either to move her car or get out of the car. She refuses. An ICE agent now has come up from the passenger side towards the driver's side in front of the vehicle, proceeding to go around the car. She accelerates into him, hits him. He pulls his gun. She continues to accelerate. He opens fire. She dies. It was a tragedy. It was absolutely self-defense here. You may not like it, but the federal agent gets to defend himself, and it's a high tense situation. It's a very high tense situation. These people have shot at ICE agents. They've opened fire on them. They have attacked ICE facilities. And you've got the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis referring to the ICE agents as Nazis and Gestapo. You've got the left convinced they're the second coming of Hitler. And they're in their moral preening phase where politics has become their religion, and they're going to virtue signal by standing up to ICE. And of course, violence has already been happening. And I need you to pay attention to this fact that we're getting far more coverage, sympathetic coverage of this woman than we've gotten from anybody in the media about the violence inflicted on ICE agents. And the propaganda campaign is what we've been seeing for Hamas. A social media account called Power to the People. The icon is a portrait of Karl Marx. Proud Socialist is the user account. Another horrifying image out of Minneapolis. Look at the terror on this man's face as federal agents point a gun at his face and threaten his life. Enough is enough. Our government is committing war crimes abroad and murdering and terrorizing citizens at home. We need a revolution. That's what this socialist account says. Here's the reality from this picture that has now circulated widely among the left. 5 million views on social media. The man had grabbed the officer's gun, and the officer is firing pepper spray at him. The officer's firing pepper spray. The man had grabbed the officer's gun, but the socialist is pushing out mythology to further anger the left. They want violence. The left craves the violence. Rene Good was a useful idiot for the left's campaign to destabilize this country. They want it. They want it. Y'all, I got to tell you, it's a dangerous game the left is playing, and it's one they think that they will be able to win the PR campaign. It's why they don't like Tony DeCoppel on CBS News. They don't like him because he's willing to be more fair and cover both sides. It's another breakup of the media monopoly. They don't like that there's now an evening newscast on CBS that actually covers both sides instead of just catering to liberal pablum and talking points. They depend on the national media. They depend on the national media in order to carry out their propaganda. They depend on the national media to cover for them and tell the lies for them and build a sympathetic to the case. And now that they don't have Fox, they've lost CBS. They don't have the Wall Street Journal generally. More and more people are turning to people like me, people online, people who are willing to cover the truth. That's why they hate Nick Shirley so much for his coverage of the fraud in Minneapolis. They're derisively referring to him as a nobody YouTuber who just took out Tim Walz's ability to get reelected. I gotta say, I am really, really deeply disturbed by where this heads. And where it heads is the left turning even more violent. You and I both know that's where this heads. You and I both know the left wants this fight because they've substituted religion for politics, and the only way to get their utopia is to get rid of you and me, to get rid of ICE. Rene Good was not a legal observer. She was a progressive activist who tried to block ICE agents. When she failed, she tried to flee. In the process, she hit an ICE agent who opened fire on her and killed her. It was a tragedy that could have been prevented by the left showing restraint, but they will not show restraint. And they always say it's the other side's fault. No, it's their fault, and they won't take ownership of it. This woman should be alive. She left behind a 6-year-old whose father died several years ago because she wanted to go out and put political activism ahead of her family, it appears. It's a tragedy, but she's no hero. She's no hero. And the Democrats should tone down their rhetoric. Instead, they're claiming ICE agents murdered an American citizen. They want the violence. They want shots at the president. They want shots at ICE. They want shots at people who they disagree with because politics has become their religion, and you got to burn the heretics.
Y'all, I'm not a New Year's resolution guy. I never have been, but I have resolved, I guess you could say, before the New Year's to just drink more water. It's good for you. And I buy bottled water for the office, but I finally broke down and I bought a Cove Pure. So if you don't know what it is, it's an incredible machine. It's got technology that's certified to remove 99.9% of contaminants from the water. It gets rid of PFAs, microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, fluoride. It gets everything removed. It's the purest water you can get, and you just pour tap water in the back and let the filters do the work, and it just works. When I used it for the first time, I didn't realize you could heat up the water. You can chill the water. You can just have regular tap water at room temperature, and it just works with the push of a button. It sits right on the countertop. Didn't have to call a plumber. It makes it really easy. Cove Pure is so easy to get pure water with the push of a button. Do your New Year's resolution. Improve your health with the real clean water. Right now, you can get $200 off for a limited time at covepure.com/Eric. That's COVEPURE, covepure.com/Eric, ERICK.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I want to play for you this clip. This is from Kristi Noem in a press conference with she's answering a question from Brian Lanus of Fox News. Well, let me redirect the sound here from my computer to you guys to be able to hear it. Well, sorry. It's my computer is having the trouble. Okay. She says, I would say these comments are why we're standing here.
We're standing where we are today. That kind of language and that kind of provocative talk, inciting people to take action and perpetuate violence in some cases, is unacceptable, and especially of elected leaders. We have a responsibility to state the facts, to go out and enforce the law. Your mayor just said in that statement that he was going to stand with illegal people who have broken our law before he's going to put New York City citizens first. His job and why he was elected was to protect the people who live here, that had the opportunity to vote for him and have the opportunity to live in this city. They pay their taxes, they go to work every day, and instead the mayor in that statement chose to stand with illegals instead of those individuals who just want the chance to raise their families in New York City and have a part of the American dream.
Now, what was this about? Of course, this is about Mamdani again saying that federal agents are murdering American citizens. He's accusing the government of murdering American citizens because Renee Good hit a police officer, hit an ICE agent with her vehicle, and was shot and killed in an act of self-defense. They don't care about the facts. They care about amping up left-wing violence. They want ICE agents dead because they're an existential threat to the Democrats' ability to hold power as their states decline in population. Now, I want to talk to you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. They could be your bank. I have a checking account and a savings account with them. Now, I have the minimal accounts because I don't like paying bank fees. And I got a no-fee checking, no-fee savings account with Old Glory Bank. You could, too, or you can get the premium accounts. And if you're a veteran, first responder, active duty military, you get some discounts. Active duty military, I know they'll waive some fees for you on those premium accounts with interest on checking. They've got great business accounts as well. Phenomenal business accounts. Business program lending there is fantastic. They're very hands-on because they're an online bank, so they really spend a lot of time getting to know the individuals, getting to know the customers, because when you go to business lending, they want to be able to understand your business. You know how frustrating it can be with banks that don't know you. You're just an account number to them. You're not an individual. Old Glory Bank, you're a person. They know you. They do business lending. They do checking, savings, custodial accounts. They do premium accounts. They do mortgages. They do CDs. Full service bank. You can even deposit cash even though they're an online bank. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. OldGloryBank.com/ERICK. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply. I want to confess something. I actually am pretty terrible about daily Bible reading, and I need to get better. And one of the great things I have encountered is Glorify, and I'm glad to tell you about them. This episode's brought to you by Glorify. It's the #1 Christian daily devotional app, and it's helped me focus better
on reading the Bible and diving into daily devotions and meditating on God's Word. And they've got great sleep meditations as well to help you wind down at night. I've enjoyed using the app, and I wanted to put it on your radar. I thought you might as well. You get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever. You download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/Eric, ERICK. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. It'll help you get focused on Scripture. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/Eric.
It's okay. Started talking and hadn't pushed the microphone button, y'all, because I'm a professional. I'm going to make you all mad now, and I need to maybe I'm not going to make all of you mad, but a lot of you're about to be mad. In fact, Charlie, I'm going to apologize in advance for the nut jobs you may be about to get on the phone. And I'm not going to take any phone calls on the subject just because I'm going to nip it in the bud. I don't care. You're not going to call and yell at my call screener. You're not going to call and yell at me. I'm not even going to talk to you about it because I'm just right here. This is one of those issues where I am completely right, and every one of you is going to know that I'm right, but many of you aren't going to be able to bring yourselves to acknowledge it, and instead you're going to be furious with me for just telling you the God's honest truth. But you got to have the truth. I actually, there's a lady, I got to find the audio, who is saying that, actual truth has become right-coded now. That on the left, it's now my truth, and it can be a complete lie, but if you believe it, it's true, even though it's not. The truth is now right-coded, but there are progressives on the right, and they don't like the truth either. And I'm about to tell you guys the truth, and you are going to be infuriated, many of you on the left and the right. This is an equal opportunity. You're all going to hate me, but I'm right, and I will plant my flag. I will be that Norman Rockwell picture of the man standing up, the First Amendment. I'm telling you, the God's honest truth. Here we go with the devil may care attitude. Renee Good is Ashley Babbitt. Sovereign citizens are legal observers. It is the same mind virus affecting the partisans of the left and the right. So there are you may not be familiar with this. Some of you are. In fact, I know a woman in Florida. She is probably listening right now on WDBO down in Orlando, who is going through a nasty divorce. She's a listener of this program. We were down at Wekiva Island and had a conversation with this woman, I guess last year. Her husband decided he was a sovereign citizen. Watch some YouTube videos from right-wing influencers. If you don't know what a sovereign citizen is this kooky idea that you declare yourself a sovereign citizen and you are essentially your own nation. It's a decentralized group, according to the Internet, of anti-government activists, conspiracy theorists, and tax protesters found in several countries, mainly the United States, Canada, Australia, and the UK, who believe they're not subject to government statutes and regulations. They claim to be exempt from paying taxes, holding driver's licenses, or registering vehicles, operating under a self-defined pseudo-legal belief system. They believe they are their own nation. And this woman in Florida, her entire family is wrecked. The man turned out not to be paying taxes to the IRS. They were self-employed down in Orlando, and he declared himself a sovereign citizen. He read about it on the internet. He did not have to do it. And the IRS came calling. They have taken their home. They have ruined their lives. The woman did not realize that her husband was such a nut job. She now has custody of the kids, and she's rebuilding their lives. The husband, by the way, has gone to jail. It is a movement mostly on the right of people who decide they are not beholden to the government. They are the government themselves. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Who are you? You are the people. Therefore, you are a sovereign citizen. There are people, in fact, who file legal motions and tie up people in court. They come after others, and they claim to be like sovereign citizens, and they want to go to federal court, and they put injunctions on you. They file injunctions and make wild claims against people, and they believe they're sovereign citizens. And it is this kooky nut job idea from the right that you are empowered by the people, for the people, of the people. You are the people, therefore you are sovereign government to yourself. The federal government is illegitimate. It has overstepped its bounds. On the left, they have legal observers. On the left, they believe that if they call themselves a legal observer, that you can't arrest them if they're protesting. Renee Good, according to multiple eyewitnesses, they referred to her as a legal observer. It is a term that's derived from the Antifa movement, where if you call yourself a legal observer, you can't be arrested because you were doing nothing wrong. You were just observing. She was using her car as a barricade to block ICE. According to the other protesters who were there, she wasn't using her car as a barricade. She was positioning it to be a legal observer of ICE activities. Yeah, parked across the road to block traffic. It's the same idea, just from the left instead of the right. Instead of a sovereign citizen, it's a legal observer. It is a made-up idea that has been endowed with power from mythology that these people believe hold them above a system they view as illegitimate. The sovereign citizens believe the government is illegitimate. The legal observers on the left believe the government is illegitimate. They believe that they have some sort of holy right to operate as they are. It's the same mental virus polluting the tribes of the left and the right. Ashley Babbitt was on the wrong side of history. She was the villain, not the hero. On January 6, 2021, there's video evidence. You can watch the security footage. The mob was trying to get through the speaker's lobby as members of Congress were fleeing. There was one security guard standing guard at the door to stop the mob from coming through as members of Congress were fleeing behind him down a stairwell to get out in case the mob penetrated the door. The mob lifted Ashley Babbitt up to go through a window, and she was shot and killed by a law enforcement officer standing guard protecting members of Congress. And the tribe on the right insists she's a martyr and a hero, and they honor her, and she's a victim, and the police officer should be vilified and carted off to jail, which is the same damn thing that the left now wants for this ICE officer who shot Renee Good. Renee Good is the left's Ashley Babbitt. She was not a hero. She's not a martyr. She's on the wrong side of history. She is the villain. She got shot hitting an ICE officer with her car trying to flee the scene. It was a spontaneous reaction by the ICE officer. They've been shot around the country. They've been targeted around the country. He was acting in self-defense. The police officer in the Capitol was operating to protect members of Congress. People on the right want him vilified and crucified. People on the left now want this ICE officer vilified and crucified. It's the same mind virus on the left and the right. And the crazy thing is that on the right, you can look at the video of Ashley Babbitt. You can see what's happening. You can see the members of Congress fleeing, and they will insist that no, she did nothing wrong. He could have stopped her in some other capacity. His job was to protect members of Congress, not Ashley Babbitt. The officer did nothing wrong. And yet people on the right will insist he did. They'll see the same video that I saw, and they'll completely, willfully misinterpret it. And that's what the left is now doing with this video with Renee Good. They can see it. They can see that she hit the officer. I've got a guy on Twitter arguing with me right now. She didn't hit that guy. You can see there are multiple angles. You can see she hit him. In fact, I would suspect the reason both local law enforcement and Homeland Security came out so quickly and said there was an impact was because they have the body camera footage. But the left denies she hit him. The left says she was just escaping. They're looking at a video where clearly an officer has been hit by this vehicle who opens fire on this vehicle, and they say she was innocent. She was trying to avoid him. She was trying to get out of the way. It doesn't matter. Self-defense. On the right, we have concocted this lie that Donald Trump did not encourage people to go storm the Capitol, that it wasn't even a riot, that it was an incursion to the Capitol. On the left, they have hands up, don't shoot. It's a mythology that galvanizes the tribe. In St. Louis, Missouri, what was his name? Michael Brown, who got shot. Remember the hands up, don't shoot? It was all a lie. That never happened. Even Barack Obama quoted, hands up, don't shoot. Both sides like to create mythologies that make them the moral victor. Nobody's interested in the truth. I'm interested in the truth. Here's why I'm interested in the truth. I'm interested in the truth because I'm a Christian who worships a God who says, I am truth. And if he is truth, truth is knowable, and you got to try to get it right. Ashley Babbitt was neither martyr nor hero. Renee Good, neither martyr nor hero. Sovereign Citizen is a fringe nutty belief from the right. Legal Observer is a fringe nutty belief of the left. It is the same virus polluting the minds of the tribes, and the virus pollutes your mind to have you believe, one, you're a victim, and two, your claims are morally righteous. You wish to be the victim because in postmodern society, being a victim gives you moral righteousness. Being a victim imputes to you moral claims against the oppressor. That is Marxist ideology woven through postmodernism, that you as the victim have a morally righteous claim and you are superior to the oppressor. And on the right, you want to be oppressed by the government. On the left, you want to be oppressed by the government. On the right, you've got to have martyrs to identify, to hold up and say this person was killed by the government. On the left, same thing. These are mirror images of a poisonous ideology that are polluting the minds of political partisans in this country who have isolated themselves from each other, who don't know each other, who don't want to know each other, who don't like each other, who all hate the government in various capacities, in various ways. And it's all about the power. When you're in power, your side is morally righteous and never wrong. When you're out of power, it's all about getting back into power. It's a postmodern poison that has infected the tribes. And I want nothing to do with it, and I'm willing to call it out, and you can hate my guts for telling you the truth, but I'm telling you the truth. You can't deny it. You're going to want to deny it. People are going to come after me on Ashley Babbitt. They get so enraged at me when I point out she wasn't a hero. She wasn't a martyr. The amount of energy that has been poured in on the right of Trump supporters to claim that she was some sort of martyred victim of an out-of-control police officer, it's the exact same thing they're doing with Renee Good today, who got gunned down in Minnesota for running over an ICE officer, or trying to run over an ICE officer, as she escaped him. Because you have to be the victim. It was not 10 years ago when people on the right would routinely say being a victim is a choice. And now you got all these people say, no, I am a victim. The government's come to get me. The other side is too dominant. I got to hate them. I got to fight them. It's us versus them. I hear us versus them. How binary can you be? You got to be committed to the truth. As I said the other day, you got to love your neighbor. If you're grounded in faith, you got to believe in the actual truth, not just the truth you want it to be, but the actual truth, whether it works for you or against you. And you've also got to love your neighbor, whether you want to or not, whether they make it easy or not. The left is not grounded in that. And now there are people who say, screw all that stuff. This is why Christianity is so weak. I have seen people who profess to be Christians on social media, some of whom have radio programs in this country, saying that's why we're weak. We got to give up this love your neighbor stuff. We got to give up this turning your other cheek stuff. That's not really what Jesus meant. Yeah, the guy who was nailed to the cross who said nothing. Yeah, that's not what he meant. We don't want to wind up like him. I saw someone the other day who claims to go to church. He said, we don't want to wind up on a cross. I don't care whether you're a believer or not, but the point you got to understand here is that the truth is something ascertainable. And what's happening is that the right can see the video of Ashley Babbitt and say that she was somehow a martyred victim of an out-of-control police bureaucracy or police officer, and the left can look at Renee Good and see the same thing, and they're seeing videos and they're narrating through their lies. They're lies they have given truth to, but they're still lies, and we've got to be committed to truth. It is the same manifestation of the same virus polluting both sides, where you wish to be the perpetual victim because your victimhood gives you a sense of moral righteousness. And that moral righteousness is what you can rub in everybody else's face and claim some level of certainty to get your way. That's postmodernism. That's where intersectionality comes from, where the world is divided up into race, sex, sexual orientation, gender, handicap, ability, disability, education. And the guy who is the a white Christian heterosexual with no disability with a college degree. He's the most oppressive person on the planet. And the rest of us, we're all victims of that guy. Therefore, we have greater morality than that guy. That is intersectionalism. That is what both sides are doing. It is a postmodern, critical theory, Marxist foundation for destroying this country. And I refuse to play a role in it. And you should refuse to play a role in it. You should commit yourself to the truth. Dividing the world into heroes and villains makes you feel good when you get to say, I'm the victim and the hero of the story. But oftentimes you're a deluded fool, and we should stop dabbling in the delusions, whether it's transgenderism or perpetual victimhood of either side. It's corrosive and destructive to this country. And if you really want to move on from what's happening, you got to give that up. You got to stop telling yourself you're a victim. You got to stop treating yourself like a victim, and you've actually got to get out of the talking points and get committed to truth, or we're just going to tear ourselves apart as a nation. And it's what the left wants, because the left isn't going to give up on critical theory. And the solution to the right is not to embrace it with them, it's to present a different alternative to the American people, because the American people, they've already showed they don't like it. They went with the man who caused January 6th. They put him back in power. They hate the left so much. So why should we operate like the left? You're not a sovereign citizen or a legal observer. You're an American citizen bound by American law, and we are the last best hope for mankind unless we tear ourselves apart, which is what all of our enemies want, including the domestic ones. There is breaking news I have to get to. This is important breaking news. Marco Rubio has just released an official statement from the Office of the Secretary of State. Quote, I do not normally respond to online rumors, but feel the need to do so at this moment. I will not be a candidate for the currently vacant head coach or general manager positions of the Miami Dolphins. While you never know what the future may bring, right now my focus must remain on global events and also the precious archives of the United States of America. Thank you. So he is National Security Advisor. He is Secretary of State. He is the Archivist of the United States. He is the chairman of USAID. Absolutely hilarious. Well played by Marco Rubio. This is the program brought to you by Van Allen Golf. I've got a lot of questions, y'all. The guys behind True Precision, makers of fine firearms, in fact, my concealed carry, they realized that they could also use their milling machines to make putters and golf equipment, and it's amazing. So their putter has a changeable face, bronze, or I think carbon steel if you want a lighter one. I've got the bronze one. Y'all, it's an incredible putter. They're making great golf equipment. Check them out at vanallengolf.com. We got a lot to talk about when we come back. The President of the United States has declared war on the military-industrial complex in this country. He's going after the defense industry, and it's about time someone shakes it up. I don't know if it's the right way, but he's certainly shaking up the industry, and arguably, we can't build a ship in this country. We can't build a ship. China turns out, I think, 10 ships for every one of ours, or 50 ships for every one of ours. It's an insane number. And the military-industrial complex is just phoning it in. They're getting rich, and we're getting behind militarily. They got to step up the game. So I am not opposed to the president doing what he's doing at all. We'll get into those details. Now, I've been telling you about a secret war on cash. It's not hype. It actually is happening right now, and you'll see it. When you go places and they tell you cash is not accepted, or when you go to the government and the government insists that you got to use debit and credit cards. I want you to get the free report from my friends at Swiss America. They've been the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years. They are who I buy precious metals from. The report breaks down what's happening with global currencies, with debt, why hard assets like gold and silver are back in focus. All you have to do is call or text 800-289-2646 to get a free copy. Here's something else. You should subscribe to their YouTube channel, Swiss America Trading Podcast on YouTube. One of the best sources I found for clear, no-nonsense insight on what's going on with the BRICS, with precious metals, global power shifts. Just call or text 800-289-2646. Send them my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, 800-289-2646. Search Swiss America Trading on YouTube today. Message and data rates may apply. SwissAmerica.com/Eric. You can go there as well.